Stellaris Update 3.3, and the live version is slightly different than the beta version, which makes me believe the developers are right on top of it, and the changes have been quite positive from the beta to the live. But that's not all. Now, if you want the detailed patch notes, there are others who have already covered them to death, and I will also post a link in the description. The important thing I want to talk about is what this patch actually accomplished. One, it reduced the endgame lag and just lag in general. This has always been one of the biggest technical problems in the game, hands down. But what about the design? What about all these big changes that they have made, which I will argue probably the biggest update as of yet, design-wise. Now, it has not only made tall a viable way to play, now of course balanced with a bit of width, by completely overhauling administrative capacity. As I had suggested in my previous video, it also has made fleets something you'll want to keep around and not just be a credit sink, because unless you're actively waging war, there is no point to having a fleet outside of maybe some defense, but that's going to be eating up your resources, so not having it will actually let you grow considerably faster, so it becomes a huge gambit. And so the person who plays more warlike wins. Once again, it boiled down to StarCraft. So ideal way to play should not be your entire economy exists to support your war machine. Anyway, now it increased your influence gain, which the way the game expands just makes perfect sense. Now, it increases your influence, which is one of the most important resources for expansion and development. This change was important for me personally because it was one of the things that made the game so much less immersive. Like, having a fleet should naturally or having a strong military should naturally make your government more influential. This is very simple stuff, but it has been shown in this game, something that, we suspended our disbelief on. Now we don't have to. And it prevented a RTS situation where the person with the biggest fleet that they have already built would win. Now you have a reason to keep a defensive fleet. These series of changes have set a nice balance between all conquest all the time and everyone plays quasi-pacifist. As always, wars must be expensive and at times risky endeavors, and most importantly, the defending side must have means of defending itself. The complexities of the administration must be shown, and now we are seeing that. And I think it's very effective now. It made vassals more logical, alliances more logical, because the cost of running such a large empire just would be way too much without the right resources. While the Edict Fund and power projections mechanic may seem a bit obtuse at first, after just a little bit, they just click perfectly. It's just so well designed and in a very smart way. We now see the benefits of running an efficient empire and detriments to galaxy-spanning administration, as I talked about before. I think the snowball effect that I spoke about before has been fixed to a large extent. The previous problem, however, and the fix of this has shown light to another issue that has not been directly addressed, and that is resistance and insurgency, which I think would make warfare and conquest much more realistic given the time period and conditions. I mean, if the war system in Stellaris were to be believed, things such as Vietnam or Afghanistan twice would never have happened. So I think we can tackle that and see how players will be dealing with that when waging their wars, expanding their empires, and making their decisions. Well, I will talk about this issue more in depth in my next video, but I'll see you next time.